Hi everyone. We'll continue talk about my physics. Not my physics, nature's physics. Physics under the nature's perspective. Only that nature can speak, so I speak for nature, or I represent the nature. I am the nature, and I'm nature's agent. Anyhow, we'll continue to talk about the light, and I'll recall a little bit what uh, I've discussed about the light earlier. Two things to remember. One is that light is a collective phenomenon. Even the simplest thing like the speed of light is collective. Say gave you one a photon, you can't you can't tell its speed, or you can't measure its speed. Unlike a planet, a moon or Earth or sun is already always there. A light disappears, and one photon you can't measure the speed of it. You need a whole bunch of a photon and continuously shooting these photons. It's kind of like a line of photons, or a troop, or an army of photons marching, and you could then you only then you can measure the speed of a marching band of a photon. And in fact, you measure the one photon and its connection with another photon behind somewhere. So light is a collective phenomenon. This is one thing to remember. Second, light is a point phenomenon. Point means space and time. Light or photon occurs at one space-time point, one space point, and one time point, because light is a discrete wave. Other waves we're familiar with, like a sound wave or water wave, or even the radar wave, radio wave, they are all continuous waves. They are continuously oscillation or vibration and continuously produced. While photon is produced instantaneously, need no time, need no movement in space, or cost no time. One thing I mentioned earlier was the supersonic sound boom. Light or photon is produced similarly. It's electronic or electromagnetic boom exceeds the speed of light inside of an atom, or when the electron jump from one energy level to another, and that little jump either under high pressure or between a chemical reaction, and those things are random movements. Random movements means you could be two places at the same time, and therefore you can imagine the speed. That is a possibility of having things that is moving faster than the speed of light. However, it is moving within electromagnetic environment, within electromagnetic ether. So it can only be so fast. Similarly to our fighter jets, it's moving in the air. It has a limit. It can't go, say, 100 Mach or something, or 1,000,000 Mach. That's not possible. Similarly, the electron can only move so fast. However, when electron went past the speed of light, like a jet went past the sonic barrier, the moment passing the sonic barrier, boom, the sonic boom appears. The moment the electron passed the speed of light, boom, photon was born. Okay, so once we realized this is our photon, we can explain a few things rather easily. First of all, the bending of the light. Light as a electromagnetic wave travel in the middle of electromagnetic ether or electromagnetic environment. When this environment changes, say in a sense, got a little bit denser, or a little bit thick, or a little bit thinner, it will change the speed of the light, not only the amplitude, but also the direction. And when direction changes, you have a bending of light. Either is a fraction or go around an obstacle, because the edge of that obstacle, the surface electromagnetic environment is rather special, similar to a surface tension of a liquid. Okay, that's enough about the bending of the light. Next is the redshift and expanding the universe. I'm going to tell you there is none of such a thing. I will explain it as rather systematically in the following videos. Today, I'm only going to start with something rather intuitive, or not really intuitive. It's rather similar, or exactly the same. The ancient times, we're talking about roughly 2,500 years ago, the Confucius time in China. Confucius one day saw two kids arguing. They had a issue of whether the sun is closer to us or further to us in the morning or at the noon. One child thought the sun is closer to us in the morning because the sun appeared to be bigger, and in the noon it is rather tiny. So then he insisted on the sun is closer to us in the morning. And the other kids thought the sun is closer to us at the noon because it feels much hotter. And two of them couldn't convince each other. And then Confucius saw it, and Confucius thought it was interesting. So that he remembered it. I guess he told a few people. And this story got sneaked into the history, so to speak, and got recorded. Otherwise, two kids argue, chances are it won't be recorded in his history. Anyhow, so that's the story. However, there's another aspect of a morning sun and the noon sun, or the difference between the two, is their color. Morning sun and the sunset and the sunrise, the sun in the morning and the sun in the dawn, they all appear to be redder than at the noon. The reason we all know, because the morning sunlight and the evening sunlight had to go through a lot more our air, had to suffer a lot of trauma, so to speak, before reaching our eyes. So they appear to be redder. And imagine the light come from further end of the outer end of a universe. Although the space between stars and the planets are rather close to vacuum, but they are not vacuum. There are dusts, there are particles sunk amidst all kinds of rays and particles filled up our solar system even. When you go through who knows how many light years, you're going to hit a few of those particles. And the further you travel, and more particles you're going to hit. Or more particles going to hit you if you were a photon. I'm talking about nature's story. I'm a photon, travel from the far end of the universe, come to Earth, into your eyes or into some instruments. I got through a lot. We're talking about millions, maybe even trillions of light years. Forget about small particles. Just the comics and the meteorites, those rocks alone, I had to hit plenty. So I'm tired. I look a little redder. That doesn't mean my mother was running away from you. I hope I made it clear enough. This is the first lecture of why universe isn't expanding, or so-called redshift has nothing to do with Doppler's effect, because in light there is no Doppler's effect. However, since we're talking about expanding, what does that mean? We're talking about things from getting further and further apart. We'll have to talk about the distance between them, getting larger and larger. So just what is the distance? Who put it a ruler, measured it, or some kind of a ruler? And then you also have to measure time. If otherwise, it's still the expansion that doesn't make sense. You have to have time. You have to have time moving. You have to have distance changing, and a whole bunch of things had to be made more or less clear or defined to be able to speak things like expanding of the universe. So I'll talk about these things in a later video. Alrighty, bye.